Hey, Kenny, hope you're doing well. I guess just looking ahead, obviously Missouri tomorrow. Just what have you noticed looking at Missouri and scouting? Just what do they bring? What are they good at?
Great question. I think the first thing you talk about is with Missouri is they're well coached. They play 12 players, 11 players. So they're constantly running guys in and out the game. The last 4 or 5 games, they're making right at 10 threes a game, and they are leading the nation in free throw attempts. So they're attacking the basket as well. So between right at, 10 threes and right at 30 or 25 free throw attempts a game. Those two areas are areas of concern. We got to play defense without fouling, and we got to not allow them to get 10 threes.
And you mentioned their kind of weird rotation where they're yeah a weird deep rotation that kind of changes from game to game. Just how do you prepare for something that's a little different than a lot of other teams do in that regard?
They are different than most other teams that we'll play. Typically at this point of the season, teams are going to 7 guys, 8 guys. Um, and he has a deep team, a lot of very good basketball players. Um, so it's a challenge. But what happens is in games like this, you have to be focused, you have to be disciplined, you have to be alert of what's going on the court. And for us personally as a team, what you notice is we have to finish plays on both sides of the ball. And what I mean by that, and coaches probably talked to some of you already about this, but we're drilling to this team, getting in their mind that we can run great offense and we can get you in great spots. You have to finish the possession with a basket. On defense, we're playing great defense. We're getting a stop. We have to finish the defensive possession with a rebound and get out and run. And so those are the things that we have to do to make sure we're giving ourselves the best opportunity to win.
And then kind of pivoting to you guys and everything along those lines. Obviously, it hasn't been the start to SEC play that you would have wanted. Just how much of that is kind of down to it being year one for you guys as a staff in Arkansas, and how much of it is maybe it come down to that kind of yeah.
I didn't hear the last part of your question.
How much do you think that the I guess struggles to start SEC play is kind of down to it being year one, and how much of it is, you guys maybe, I guess, adapting to SEC play as opposed to non-conference?
I would say it like this. I think that this conference is unrelenting. I would say that for us as a team, we go through these lulls or these empty possessions on defense and offense where there's 4 or 5 minutes, 3 minutes where we're not productive. We have to fix that. I would say that, again, going back to the conference, this is a very, very tough conference, and everybody can beat everybody. And we have to go out and fight and be disciplined and be focused on what we're doing, knowing that we can't have a 3-minute empty possession or a 3-minute don't get stops and give up offensive rebounds and expect to win the game. That could be the difference in winning and losing the game.
Connor,
Last one from me, obviously. Oh, can I,
go ahead.
last one from me, but obviously, Missouri goes winless in SEC play last season and is now looking pretty good. I guess just can you speak to, I guess, the job that Dennis Gates has done? I know obviously we're in the league last year, but speak to the job that he's done and kind of, flipping it from last season to this season.
I think he's done an unbelievable job. I think when you look at the players that's on that floor and what they're doing, they're playing with a fire. They're well coached. They have buy-in. They just beat a team that's probably a top 5 team in the country in Florida. You know, which shows what they're capable of doing. And they're doing it consistently. He's done a phenomenal job. He's a hardworking coach, well-deserving. And it just goes to show again how things can change from one year to the next. the landscape of the transfer portal and all of that. Um, you know, what more can you say than that? And he's done a great job.
Connor.
Hey, Coach, thanks for talking to us. You guys, the last couple of injury reports before games, y'all haven't had anyone listed, and it looks like y'all have had all 9 guys available. Have y'all been able to like scrimmage more and run more stuff and get a little bit more experience in practice, or have y'all kind of taken it easy when it comes to that so far this season?
Well, lately, when you're losing and you lose 3 or 4 or 5 games, whatever, um, you don't take it easy. You have to get after it. You have to address the issue of the rebounding, allowing teams to constantly out rebound you, getting second chance opportunities. You have to clean up your offense so that, when you get those opportunities to make layups, you make them. You get those opportunities for wide open shots, you make them. And you make them by making them feel good in practice, coming in and getting individual work, shooting the ball, making layups, making crisp passes in practice, doing all the things that it takes at a time when players sometimes, this is basketball, this is human beings. So what happens is when success doesn't happen, confidence may waver. Well, these kids have done a good job of staying focused, staying locked in, trying to fight. And we need them at their best. We need them confident, and we need them to play winning basketball so that, we feel like if we win one, it may lead to winning 6 in a row. That's our message.
And then with you talked about confidence and guys locking in and buying in, and as a staff, y'all have been at kind of at the opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to starting hot in conference play or starting off rough in conference play. Just what's the mindset of this group right now, and what's your kind of feel with where guys are mentally right now?
I think that, as coaches, when you deal with young people, you try to be honest and tell them the truth. One of the great attributes of being a coach and true coaching is being truth tellers. And so early on in non-conference play, we talked about how hard this conference is, how tough it is. And when you got young players and you got guys that hadn't seen it at this level, yeah, coach, we hear you. Now you're in it. And now you see they are hearing our message with their body language. Coach, you were right. Coach Cal, you were right, talking about how tough. And a lot of this isn't about skill. A lot of this is about will. These teams that we're playing are just physical and fighting to win. It's not about some complicated offense or nuances within their defense. It's just about big, strong, athletic, physical players going against someone else. And so we have to match that physicality, match that energy, and match that will to win, if not surpass those things.
Hutch.
Yeah, Coach, another question about Missouri. It looks like they're a really high steal team. What have you seen from them in that regard?
They get after you. They play passing lanes. Even in the zone, they're active in their zone. They run at you. They're trying to force you into turnovers and get out in transition. In the man, there's so much pressure put on the ball with no outlets that you have to be strong enough to attack their defense and then make plays. So they have a unique, which, Gates got a lot of this from and was a part of teams with Coach Hamilton at Florida State. And it's very similar to what they did there.
And you talked about rebounding and finishing defensive possessions with rebounds. When you're looking at film, are you seeing the guys make similar mistakes from game to game, or is it different things, or just kind of what are you seeing as what's going wrong there?
Well, it starts with the physicality, the mindset of what's going on the court in the rebounding area is if you don't hit first, you're going to get hit. So you have to go attack that guy that's coming in to get the offensive rebound. You have to meet him first. He cannot take 2 steps toward you before you go to him. If that happens, you end up under the basket. These are big, strong guys. And they end up getting second and third possessions because of that. And also our guards, we have a team that, we need all 5 guys crashing the boards, not just the bigs, not just 3 guys. We need all 5.
And with Nelly, we've seen some really good flashes from him. The first half against LSU, I thought he looked pretty comfortable, and he's struggled in the second half. Just what are you seeing from him, and how do you get him to be more consistent with his play?
Well, the first thing that I would say is that, look, Nelly comes in here with a lot of experience, a lot of success. He's been a part of a Final Four team. We need, and it's not centered around makes and misses of shots. When you live your life as a basketball player and it's all centered around, is the ball going in the hole or is it not? That's hard. That's hard for any player at any level. You have to do the other things, and you got to be vocal, and you got to bring a leadership quality to this team that we need. We need his Final Four experience. We need his vocalness and his vision of what he's seen since he's been in college basketball, being a part of a special team. We need that. We need his toughness. But what happens is sometimes, guys they don't have the success that they want, and they sort of get lost in themselves. We need him to be about, what does it take to win? You're not identified just on makes and misses of jump shots. You can drive the ball to the hole. You can make good passes. You can stay engaged on defense. You can rebound the ball. He is a versatile basketball player that we need him to bring that to our team, and not just be hit or miss on jump shots. I don't make jump shots, I'm devastated. And I'm not saying that he is. At times it looks like that.
Daniel.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Coach Cal hasn't had a start like this in league play in a while. I guess just from your vantage point, just how has he handled maybe going through, coaching the team as they're struggling?
Great question. And I will answer that this way. You're not identified as a leader when things are just good. You're really identified leadership is when things are swirling, when things aren't great. How are you leading? And I think Coach Cal has done a great job of trying to show these young people, because the same goes for them. The same goes for DJ Wagner. The same goes for Adu Thero. The same goes for John L. Davis, and it goes for Jonas Adu. Leadership isn't just one-sided. When things are good, we all hunky-dory. When things are bad, how do we lead? Do we give up? Do we fight through? Do we keep a positive mindset? Coach Cal has done a great job of trying to do whatever it takes to inspire these kids to play confident, tough, and know that it's not the end of the world. We can fix this, but we have to make adjustments to how we approach it. It's not going to be easy because we're playing great teams, but we can do it, and we have to do it, and we have to approach it in a way that we're not looking defeated. And Coach Cal has been very positive with this team and with the staff as well.
Eric.
Coach, there's a couple of things in there that are seem to be like running themes with the team right now. Things that Coach Calipari said. And first thing I want to address is the physicality, which obviously you guys have the size in the front court. You've got the athleticism to do it. But when you're not seeing your guys be physical, what are the things that you're doing in practice, or what are the things that you're telling them? And can you actually make somebody be more physical when they haven't been?
Well, I can say it like this. Physicality is not built on just how big you are. A lot of it is, are you playing low? Are you in a stance? Are you attacking the guy from a low position? Are you ball watching when the ball goes up? Are you going to find a body in a stance where you can hit him before he hits you and move him away from the basket? And if you're standing straight up and erect and he hits you, you know where you're going, out of bounds. In this league, these guys are, you're right, we're not 270 pounds and big, strong. We're lean athletes with Z being one, TB being another. But if they play lower and then attack the guy that they're attacking, then they would have success. And we are working on that, and we've been talking about that.
The other thing that you mentioned, and it was specific to Nelly, but Coach Cal had mentioned this, I think, a couple of press conferences ago about guys getting lost in themselves when they're not having success on offense. And you mentioned there's so many ways that you can affect a basketball game. So when guys get to that point, obviously it becomes somewhat of a psychological game. What are you saying, or how are you approaching them? How do you get them to understand it's a team game and that there are other things that they can do, and that there is, if you're having a bad night shooting, there are other ways to overcome it and actually be successful?
The greatest players in the game aren't identified by makes and misses of the jump shot. If you live by the jump shot, you're probably going to die by the jump shot. Great scorers, the guys that put the ball, and I'm just talking shooting first to answer your question. Great scorers attack the basket. They use the jump shot to set up other things. Great teams, when the three ball isn't going, they throw it in the post. That's first. So the mixture of how you score baskets, sometimes teams come out and they miss 3 threes in a row. A player missed 3 threes in a row, 5 threes in a row. Should he take the 6th one, or should he try to get fouled and get free throws and get a rhythm? Or should he take a 2 or a layup? Those are one thing. The other thing is, in a team game, we have to be more in tune to what it takes to win the game. And what I mean by that is that, okay, if you're not making jump shots, are you rebounding? How about, are you talking? Are you in the low hole spot when you're supposed to be? Are you taking a charge? Are you making good passes? Are you making good cuts? How about your screening? The dynamics of winning a game is so many small things that add up to be big things, and it translates to winning.
Jackson, wraps up, please.
Sure, Kenny, after the Florida game, Cal told us he would maybe think about playing more minutes with Jonas and TB, like what that lineup did against the Gators, but he didn't really dive headfirst into it against LSU. Just what are some of the pros and cons, and what you guys debate about playing that lineup maybe a little more?
Well, first of all, I think when you look at it, is we're starting games pretty good. We're the first 5-6 minutes of our games, the last 2 or 3 games, we've had a lead. And then after that 5-6 minute period, there's a lull. And so that's one thing, why would you change the lineup when you're 2 games you were 11, the score was 11-4 or 10-2. The other piece to that, why would you change the lineup, is you're giving up 15, 16, 17 offensive rebounds to teams. So the big lineup may negate some of that. And as coaches, you have to be able to make adjustments to things and see if they work. And if they work, you stick with them. So that's where we are in this. We're tossing everything on the wall, as we should, see what works, trying to figure out the combinations to where, 1, we handle this rebound situation. 2, we don't want these lulls in the game, these empty possessions on offense, and these 3 or 4 minutes of defensive lapses where we play good D and then they come up with the ball. So we're going through all of that, and those are the pluses and minuses of it. it's not like it's a 40-minute game and we're playing bad for 40 minutes. It's 7, 8 minutes of a game that's really hurting us that we got to clean up.
And whether the lineup's big or small, TB made 2 threes against LSU. He's been a stretch four in the past. Is that something maybe you guys just, I know beginning of the year, Cal wanted him attacking the basket, but can that be maybe an X factor for y'all moving forward? And are you trying to encourage him to be a little bit more aggressive on his shooting?
I think TB is an X factor for us without the threes. I think TB is a unique player that has a lot of energy. He's gaining confidence. You can see it. He's unique with us because he can guard anywhere on the floor. He can go get balls above the rim, rebounding. He can shoot the three, but he also can pass. We need his energy. We need him to play a little bit tougher, but he's a very good player, and he's vital to what we need as a team to take this to the next step and start winning games.
And last one for me, I think he's Missouri's third leading scorer, but it feels like a lot of the offense kind of is based off Caleb Grill's spacing and what he can do from three and opening up stuff. I mean, how high is he on the scouting report? How much of a challenge is it maybe for your team? Like, this guy's only averaging 12 points, but he's got to be kind of a focal point for the defense.
No question. When you talk about a guy that shoots the three like that, and it's not just like he's a spot shooter, he moves well without the ball to get open. He sets great screens, which creates a gap, and then he flies off those screens to get threes. He cuts hard. And if you tag too long and you get off of him for a second thinking you're stopping a lob, he's open for a three. So he is high alert for us. And we know that we have to have high hands early. And again, I'll say this, not just him. The last 4 or 5 games, they're averaging right at 10 threes a game. That's pretty good.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate your time.
All right, guys.